I want to talk about what an impact the last creator collab had on me that went over meltdowns and shutdowns, what they're like for adults, how that changed my mind, that video, and how I'm thinking a little differently now about the whole concept coming up. I thought I felt a certain way until I watched my own video. First of all, there's something I didn't realize. I did not realize that not all people experience meltdowns. Also, I think that we define meltdowns in different ways. They affect us differently. I thought that in order to be autistic, you had to have meltdowns, but that's not true. I've also been thinking on the term meltdown, and I had someone who commented saying that the word meltdown reminds them of an infantile type word. We think of tantrums and children, and it just has a bad connotation about it. And it just really makes me not want to use that word anymore. From what we know from meltdowns are external, and shutdowns are internal behaviors. So meltdown, or whatever you want to call it, it's an external manifestation that people can see. People can see if you're visually upset, crying, losing it, throwing things, angry. These are things people can see in us. But I like the word that Quinn says, stress event. And then, as you know, a shutdown is an internal feeling that maybe others don't even see or notice you're shutting down. This happened to me recently when I was in the hospital. I visited my dad, and after a bunch of doctors left, I had a shutdown right there that didn't last long, but it was just a shutdown where I didn't want to communicate or talk. I didn't want to tell anybody what I was feeling. I couldn't speak, and I just needed to calm myself down. It makes you wonder if people in the autistic community don't like a certain word. Are the professionals willing to change that based on what we prefer? Or are they going to make their own wording that they expect us to follow along with? Or can they be influenced by how we feel in the community by words and how they affect us? What I do know is we need to be treated with respect as adults, whether we are having meltdowns or shutdowns or stress events or dysregulation. People should respect and try to understand what we're going through and be there for us when we are going through those things, because it's not easy. And we are all on a journey learning about ourselves and what we believe. Hopefully the community will better understand us through sharing our stories and rethink the wording that's used to better suit us. Another thing I learned from Quinn is that if you experience alexithymia, that can affect your emotions and stress events for you. I'm curious how many of you feel like you have alexithymia or suspect you might, or you've been diagnosed with it. And in case you don't know what that is, I've often questioned if I have alexithymia just because it is really hard for me to experience pure joy. Or if you've seen videos of me at birthday parties growing up, you would see how unexcited I look when I open presents. And as I got older, I tried to put on an expression for others so that I could look excited. It's hard for me to feel excited about things. My emotions are much more in between. And I had a boss that put it this way. She said, "You're basically always the same emotion-wise." I found this article you've got to go read if you're interested in knowing more about this. It's on a website called scarysymptoms.com, and the title of the article was, "Can you be autistic if you don't have meltdowns?" it brought up some really good points. Basically, the person that is talking in this article says they only had one meltdown their entire life at preschool age, but they ended up saying they do have hissy fits in private. They like to use the word hissy fit instead of meltdown, because they have moments where they might be kicking or screaming, stomping a foot. That sounds like meltdown definition to me, but they consider it not, because they're in private and because they were able to end that in usually a few minutes. So how we all think about, whether you like to call it meltdowns or dysregulation or whatever you call it, maybe we all just see it differently. Another point that this article made, there was a psychologist in here that said that not all autistic people exhibit those type of responses of screaming, crying, aggression, verbal, physical, and that just like neurotypical people, we can be prone to fight or flight responses. Freeze responses. Freeze responses is when you get that shutdown effect, where you become completely withdrawn from others. Further, it says if you have executive functioning weaknesses, you might be more likely not to think through consequences before acting. So Dr. Lee says when executive functioning weaknesses are more present, the limbic system is more likely to drive their response to a stressor. So if we're struggling with our executive functioning skills, maybe we have a hard time turning off the emotions. You can go check out that whole article. I think what it all boils down to is understanding ourselves better and understanding how things affect us, and trying to learn to the best of our abilities what our triggers are and how to cope, how to help ourselves during those times, how to have understanding for ourselves and love, and not beat ourselves up over those things that we can't help, and to learn to control the things that maybe we can help. So let me know, what did you get out of the video, and did it change your mind about meltdowns or the terminology you use or what you understood about them? Because it had an impact on me. Yeah, that's why I love doing this, because I'm learning so much also. I'm with you on that journey. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.